In those moments when you reflect back on what you might have achieved, maybe it's over a certain period of time or over a certain project or whatever the context is for you, I'll use the example of over the past year. So it could be at the end of the year, or you could be reflecting at a point in the same time the previous year. What have I achieved? What if you also ask the question, what was required to get me to this point as well, in terms of how you measure up what you've achieved? Because if you just look at what you've achieved without the context behind it of, well, actually this was required and I did that and that took energy and effort and I achieved that and then it took me this. If you just say, well, I just achieved this, sometimes we can get caught up in the feelings of disappointment, maybe, of feeling defeated. So the example could be looking back at the previous year and going, well, I worked so hard and I'm not where I wanted to be. So we can get into that comparison of where we wanted to be and the things we wanted to achieve, and maybe there were certain things that didn't happen versus what we actually did achieve, right? And most of us find that we can do that. We can say, well, I didn't achieve, these things, but I actually still achieved these things, and that's pretty good. But sometimes there can still be the element of, yeah, but I still didn't achieve this and I kept trying to and it didn't happen. So those are moments especially that you can then pause if you're able to. Practice makes practice. But pause and just ask yourself, okay, there are these things over here that I wanted to achieve that are still evading me in some way, right? There are these things that I did achieve, but because I didn't achieve this, it's sort of still not measuring out for me. So what was required for me to get to this point of achieving these things that I did? So it could have been, my example is the beginning of last year, at the beginning of 2019, I moved house. I moved cities. So, it wasn't just moving around the corner or to the next suburb over. I packed up my life, uprooted it, kind of, and moved from one city down the highway to the next. And that was preceded by 6 months of commute between the two, as I was still building work in the city I'm in now. And it was then followed by another 10 or so months of commute while I still did some work that I had been doing in my old city, right? So me moving cities and virtually starting again, even though it was with a lot of purpose and consideration and direction, there was still an element of that was required for me to achieve what I did achieve. And when you look at it with that lens, and it's not about not holding yourself accountable, it's not about escaping accountability, which is really important, especially when it comes to goals or objectives or achievements, whether it's business related, work related, or in other areas of life. It's still really important to hold yourself accountable and go, well, actually, maybe I didn't achieve these things because I was just so distracted by whatever it was, right? And that didn't actually serve my goals, and that's what I can shift and change for this coming year. Great, awesome. But so it's not about neglecting accountability, because that is still really important, but what it is about is just shifting your perspective and changing the lens on how you look at what you do achieve, and allowing yourself to still acknowledge and celebrate. I'll come back to that word, celebrate. Still acknowledge and celebrate what you have achieved and what it actually took you to get to that point. So some people don't really like to celebrate the little things. Some people aren't big celebrators. I am, but if you're not, that's okay. What it's about is acknowledgement and recognition. So you don't have to get up and do like a happy dance every time that it's something small, right? But when I say celebrate the little things and celebrate the progress, I'm talking about acknowledge and recognize what it took you to achieve that and the fact that you did achieve it. And that can really change. So it's well known, like successful leaders in whatever field or industry or lifestyle, they are the ones that recognize. So it's not even, it removes competition, it just creates inspiration by default without even trying. But it also gives you perspective. And I've been talking about the perspective shift, but what this is really just gaining perspective, where we may have been limiting ourselves beforehand by just going, well, I achieved this, I still didn't get these things, and that's, you know, still bugging me. If you go, well, I achieved this, I'm still working towards that, and that's okay, because this is what it took to achieve what I did achieve, and holy shit, you know, maybe I'm actually doing better than what I thought I was. And that is what can then give you the energy and the get up and go to keep achieving and keep working towards your goals. Because when we get deflated, when we start to feel defeated in like, well, I've been working really hard and I wasn't really I didn't achieve what I wanted to, we lose that energy, we lose that drive, we start to wonder, well, what's the point? Why bother, right? And we don't really get anywhere by getting stuck in the why bother. So ask yourself, what did it take for me to achieve what I did achieve? And let yourself see the full story of your achievements and recognize that. And I almost guarantee you that you will feel a difference, and you will feel like you have a clearer perspective and a clearer vision to then keep working towards this piece over here that you are still wanting, or whatever it is you're still wanting. You will feel that energy, and you'll feel that drive and motivation come back, and that's what you need to take with you into the next year ahead and to just create the life that you want. So it's not a perspective shift, it's actually getting perspective at all, and see how you go with that.